How's the investigation going?
Well, I wish I could dazzle you all with my brilliant footwork on this, but the more I know of Heather and her activities, the more I know that it's going to take me weeks, maybe even months, to prove a definite link between Heather and Diana's death.
Is there a link?
Oh, yeah, I'm convinced of it, Rick. I just found a chink in their armor.
No, when you talked to Heather?
No, when I talked to Amy Vining at the university. It seems that she and Heather got out together to go to Wyndham's department store when Heather was out over the Christmas holidays.
Well, forgive me, Joe, but I fail to see anything so damaging in that.
Well, Kathy Summers was supposed to be looking after.
You got it. That was the original idea. But Kathy was busy that day, so Amy and Heather got together and conspired to get off on their own.
I remember something like it. Heather had called me and said that she and Amy were going out shopping or something. I was having a lot of trouble with Ann at the time. It just didn't register.
That phone call was probably Heather covering herself.
Cover yourself for what?
That I don't know. But I'm going to find out. Anyhow, Heather apparently had about a half an hour alone in that department store.
Alone? Are you sure about that?
You bet. I got it right from the mouth herself, Amy Vining.
But how does all this affect what happened to Diana Taylor? I fail to see any connection.
There is a connection, Steve. I don't know it yet, but I will. I'm going to take Heather's picture down and see if anybody remembers her at Wyndham's. I'm going to try to account for every minute she spent during that half hour she was alone.
Oh, wait a minute here. I think we have to keep some perspective. We all seem to be in a big hurry to accuse Heather of things that she may or may not have done. I mean, just because we know what she's capable of doing. Well, we're making serious judgments without proof.
Steve's right.
Well, Amy's probably right. She says that Heather needs time by herself so that she can get better and learn to live as a sane adult. If she doesn't, you're not going to be able to start a life with your kid. And you're not going to be able to divorce Heather to marry Ann.
Well, that's certainly a goal worth striving for.
Yes, as long as we keep our sense of fairness, try to make sound, honest judgments. But let me say one thing. If Heather has done something wrong, if she is involved in Diana's death, and there is proof, believe me, I'll be the first one in line to see Captain Ramsey.
Joe's trying to get that proof right now, Steve.
I know that, Jeff. And I appreciate it, Joe. But I think we have to remember one important thing. Everyone's happiness depends on our doing everything we can to make Heather well.
Jesse, where's Ann?
Thank you. Jeff, hey. You think now is the right time to tell him?
Rick, there is no right time.
I want to talk about it.
Look, I want to talk to Ann. I got rounds to make.
I got rounds, too. Give me 2 minutes, okay? That's all I ask.
All right. All right. What is it?
You think right now is the time to go tell her what you're doing?
Yeah, I'm going to tell her.
You have no plans. You don't know what you're doing. You don't know where you're going or where you're going to be living, what you're doing.
What is this? What is this? Do you expect me just to leave a goodbye note at the desk?
All I want you to do is think things out clearly before you go up there and tell her. You're going to be leaving Port Charles, but you don't know where you're going or what you're going to be doing. Now, how is that going to affect her?
I know how it's going to affect her.
I don't think you do, Jeff. You're not giving her one single thing that's concrete or absolute. Now, what is going to help her to adjust to this?
You know, you're not making this any easier for me.
Well, maybe it might be a little bit easier for Ann. I'm just asking you to wait. Give her some time. Maybe she'll be able to adjust to it, have something positive to go on. It's going to break her heart. Jeff, wouldn't it be better for her to have something that she could base hope on?
Hope? Where am I supposed to get that?
Hope is going to come from knowing that you have a job, a place to live, that you've established a home with PJ. That's what hope is going to come.
Come on, Rick. Now, you heard Steve. All he can do is make a few calls. He cannot guarantee me a job.
Steve Hardy's your dad. He has a lot of influence throughout this country. And if there's a job to find, he'll find it for you.
No. You're right. What would I say to Annie right now anyway? And Jeremy, I didn't even think about him. I'm going to have things worked out.
Yeah. A plan. I think that's what you need, Jeff. A plan. An outline of what you're going to do and how you're going to do it.
Rick, if I put off telling her what's going on, she's going to know something's wrong.
Yeah, but right now there is something wrong. The two of you don't have a relationship. This way you'd have something positive to base it on. And Heather has got to get well. Maybe we better get over and make rounds, okay?
Yeah. So, Joe, Listen, I'm going to have to know anything you find out, all
You're the
right?
first man on my list. I'll see you, Rick. Jesse?
Thanks, guy. You know, I didn't think I could do it.
What's that?
Make a commitment like this. Burn all the bridges behind me.
Jeff, you're not burning any bridges. You're making a new life for yourself.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
What do you think Heather's reaction is going to be when she finds out that I've taken PJ and left town for good?
Excuse me. If it'd be all right, I would like to talk to Heather Weber, please. My name's Amy Vining. I've been here before.
Well, let's see. I'm certain Heather's still working. Were you scheduled for a visit today, Miss Vining?
Well, no, not exactly, but I'd really like to talk to her. It's kind of important.
Well, I'll see if Heather's finishing her chores in the laundry room. If so, I'll phone and ask her to come up.
Oh, could you please?
It'll take a few minutes.
That's okay. I'll catch my breath and read a magazine or something. Amy! Well, hello there, Sarah. What are you doing here? Well, I came to visit Heather. And you, of course.
You don't have to be polite, Amy. I know you're Heather's friend much more than mine. It's all right, though, because I think it's wonderful that Heather has a friend on the outside while I'm her best friend on the inside.
Well, I always try to do things to help Heather out.
Well, you have to remember one thing, Amy.
What?
See, Heather isn't really very well. Her doctors think so, but she's really not.
What makes you say that?
I live with her. I know everything about her. Everything. And Heather needs our help now.
She does.
See, she has to be very careful. Because if she makes just one mistake, just one terrible mistake, she's going to have to live here for the rest of her life. Ben, I don't really want to play this game. It's just sitting there. I'm going to...
Jesse, I just made 3 very important phone calls to hospitals in Arizona and Nevada. Page me immediately if any of the calls are returned, will you?
Yes, of course I will.
Thank you.
Oh, Steve, would you sign this for me?
Okay.
Thank you. Main desk, Mrs. Brewer. Yes, Dr. Nelson. Heather will be in Port Charles all day Friday on her first day as an outpatient. Yes, I'll be sure to get the message. You're welcome.
That was for Jeff, I presume.
Yeah. It's not going to be very easy for him trying to take care of PJ and having Heather arrive once a week to disrupt everything.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to do everything in my power to prevent those confrontations, believe me.
Maybe a little bit difficult. Heather's a very strong-willed young woman.
I guess we can consider that one of her few attributes. You know, no matter how objective I try to be, Jesse, I can't forget or forgive what Heather has done in the past.
What a surprise. I didn't expect to see you here today. I'm sorry I was in my room. Well, that's okay. I just thought maybe I'd come up and cheer you up today. The nurse said you were still working. Oh, no, I finished up. So you came to cheer me up, huh? I'm fine. You look like you're the one who needs cheering up. Well, Heather, actually, I have to tell you something. I said something that I shouldn't have said. Oh. What did you say that you shouldn't have? Well, first, you have to understand. I meant to say something completely different, and all of a sudden something else came out. I don't know what you're talking about. What did you say? You know Joe Kelly? Yes. Well, he's been following me around all day long. In fact, he even came to the university and interrupted me when I was with Kathy Summers. Do you think he came there just to talk to you? Well, it sure seemed that way. Oh, Amy, what did he say? Do you remember at Christmas time when we went exchanging presents at Wyndham's department store? Of course I remember. Would you remember when I left you alone? Amy, You didn't tell him you left me alone shopping, did you?
Well, Heather, I didn't mean to. I know that it was our secret. But Joe just kept asking these questions, and I got a little rattled.
How could you do that to me?
I stood up for you, Heather. I even told him that nobody else cared about you, not even your mother.
Oh, wonderful.
Well, it's true, isn't it? That's why you asked me to buy you those gloves?
You told him you bought me the gloves, too?
Well, they came up in conversation.
They just came up in conversation. Well, how did he react? What did he say?
He didn't say anything at all. In fact, he was so stupid. All he said was, what kind were they, leather or wool?
You've really just opened up my life like a scrapbook, haven't you, Amy?
Well, I guess I just wasn't thinking clearly after he implied all of those terrible things.
What terrible things?
Well, no, he didn't exactly come out and say it or anything, but, well, everyone knows that whoever murdered Diana Taylor didn't leave any fingerprints. That means he must have been wearing gloves.
He? Did Joe say it was a man who killed Diana?
No. But I think it must have been a man. I mean, the way I see it, it was probably one of those typical stories where a prowler breaks in and murders a poor defenseless woman.
So you figured it was a man?
Mm-hmm. That's what I think. And that's what a lot of other people think, too.
So, what did Joe say about the gloves you gave me?
Heather, I think he's trying to link your gloves with... Well, that would be ridiculous, wouldn't it?
What are you saying? What else did he say? Tell me what he said.
We talked about the gloves and Wyndham's department store. That's it. Heather, I'm sorry any of this came out at all. Honest, I am.
Well, it doesn't do much good. All the damage is done now.
Heather, it really wasn't that terrible, was it? Our secret agreement? I mean, you just wanted some time to shop by yourself.
Yes, and now Joe knows about it, too, doesn't he?
You just wanted some time to yourself, right? You didn't do anything wrong, did you?
Wrong? No, what could I have done wrong?
Are you sure?
Of course I'm sure, Amy.
She'd be about 5'7", 115, 120 pounds, blonde hair.
Sorry, I don't recognize the lady.
What, does any other department in the store duplicate keys besides yourself?
Nope, just me, except for my lunch relief.
Those blank keys on the wall, you've got to have a pretty good memory to be able to figure out the one you need to use, huh?
Just experience.
Well, I don't know. I think you're selling yourself short, aren't you? I mean, you're obviously a well-organized man. Sure, you don't recognize the details in each and every blank, but you have an overall mental picture of them so that you can pick the one you need to use, huh?
Sure.
That's why I'm going to ask you to take one more look at this, please, sir. You may not remember the details of her coming in here, but you might have that overall mental picture. We can pinpoint any details later. Now, she would have been in the day after Christmas, about lunch hour.
I don't know. Maybe. But I wouldn't swear to it.